Hello, and welcome to the World Championship of Fantasy Football 2013. I welcome you because our commissioner failed to welcome you. In this video, I will be predicting the Week 2 and give you lowdown on how I feel about your team. Alright, let's get the show on the road. Yeesh. Start off with Juice.Mayer. I love how this guy just shows up to the draft with nothing in his hands other than a pair of aviators and a cold beer. But yet, he still leaves with one of the top tier teams in our great league, yada yada. Next I move to LB Ponton. Alright LB, I understand you have 38 fantasy football teams, give or take 15 or so. I'm beginning to think you have made a career out of being a fantasy football player. You did a fine job in putting together a solid squad this season, and that is why I predict you to upset the Juice.Mayer this week by a mere 3 points. Moving on. Jeff, Commissioner. First of all, I want to know what your obsession is with the fat-faced quarterbacks. We all know you have a man crush on Jay Cutler. Now, you turn around, you draft a fat, pudgy-faced Matthew Stafford. I don't know what it is. I know it had to be painful losing to your brother last week. However, it is Juice.Mayer, and we went over that already. Juice.Mayer. This week, I see you bouncing back from a horrific Week 1 and hitting triple digits. America. Devo. Excuse me. I am sorry to say, but I think you will be a little down this season compared to seasons past. First of all, your draft was not overly great. With the exception of, say, AJ Green, Peyton Manning. Second of all, you don't have Randy Fatla to reload your team when you hit a rocky stretch, like back in the 2010 season. What a joke. With that being said, I do like your depth at the positions in which you do not need depth, such as quarterback and tight end. This will open the door for you to trade, say, with someone who needs a quarterback or a tight end. I predict Jeff Mayer to win this one by 12. You're welcome, Commish. Okay, next matchup, Jordan Marvin versus my roommate Matt Belland. Kid with a lisp. Jordan, so I gave you one last week. The reason for this is because you are a Native American. I'm sick of all the bitching that goes on after a white man takes the victory from a Native American. Does the Battle of Wounded Knee ring a bell? Alright, I digress. Your fantasy team looks average this season. I like the dual threat quarterback, so good job on Kaepernick. Also, Andre showed us that he has a little bit left in the tank, so good work on those 2 picks. Matt's team. This kid has the worst team in the league, which I understand because he is the first-year player and is yet to understand that we play for keeps in this league. I'm only joking a little bit when I say this. Aaron Rodgers is a good start to any squad, and DeMarco Murray and Alfred Morris will both complement Rodgers very well. This should be enough to take down the Wigwam Warriors with Kaepernick playing a tough Seattle defense. Met by 11. Alright. Jake versus Kenny this week. Jake, you have a lot of Patriots, which is cool for you from a fan's standpoint. However, it totally kills your team for depth. Starters look good top to bottom, but on bye weeks, I'm afraid your team will struggle. Kenny, as much as I want to say I hate your team, and you have a terrible squad, and this and that. This year you have a pretty good team. Excuse me. However, this week there are a lot of tough matchups for you, and I see Jake coming out with the W by 20 points. Mark it down, boys. Alright, moving on to the Connor Bowl. Conrad versus Bobby. Conrad, 3 starting running backs getting most of the workload. Gore, Wilson, and Lacey. That's impressive in today's modern day with the split backs and running backs by committee and fat man's getting the goal line carry, this and that, yada yada. David Wilson fumbled twice this week, and he fumbled twice in week 1 last season. Then, he followed it up with 127 carries without a fumble. Ask me where I get this fact? Don't worry about it. Conrad, you have total studs at wide receivers. Julio has the same skill set as Roddy, which Bobby has and you're playing this week, but is normally matched up with the lesser of the 2 corners. Advantage Conrad. Bobby, first of all, I am hurt that you gave up on Austin Collie. I know he gets hurt every year. I know he is white. And most of all, I know he's a free agent. I like what you did in the beginning of your draft with Marshawn Lynch and Drew Brees. As good of a start as anybody. However, things got a little rocky in the mid to later rounds, such as Austin Collie and Mikel LaShore. You should maybe think about dropping Mikel LaShore, seeing as maybe he was a week 1 scratch when he was 100% healthy. Yeah. Alright. I project Rad winning in a landslide, 126-91. The final matchup for the week 2 of the WCOFF, whatever the fuck it is, league. It's the 8-off face-off. Tyler versus myself. I look back in history a little bit and I see that Tyler Adolph has 2 wins and James Adolph has 4 wins. James Adolph beat Tyler last year 115-95 in our only matchup. 2011, James Adolph beat the Laydown Larrys by 1. And other than that, yeah, Tyler, you have some cool names. You must really like the old pussy with Snatch Nibblers and V-Town Box Munchers and whatever. I'm excited to see what you're coming out with this year. However, history doesn't look good for you, and I look to extend my winning streak against you to 5 wins to 2. However, I don't know how close it's going to be. Guns a-blazing last week for you, and, well, my team kind of laid down. But I already went over that. Jordan, I let you have it. Alright. That's it for week 2, and, well, nice talking to all y'all, and Jeff, I like your serious videos. I leave you on this note. America.